Mystery Channel. I'm Jen, an avid reader, and I'm here with my co host, mystery author Wendy Nugent.
And today we're talking with Elizabeth Mason. Elizabeth is our travel advisor for our upcoming Clue Crew Cruise. And Elizabeth specializes in cruises and all inclusive resorts for families, couples, and solo travelers. So she is our travel advisor for our inaugural Clue Crew Cruise. I am hosting a group cruise for mystery lovers. And as you might know, before I was a mystery author who writes mystery set on cruise ships, I spent a decade working on cruises as a headline entertainer. And that experience inspired me to host a group cruise for mystery lovers. So we would love to have you join us and all of the fellow mystery lovers on this initial Clue Crew cruise or following ones that we're planning already. We're going to set sail aboard the luxurious Celebrity Reflection on January 26, 2025 from Fort Lauderdale. And this is a 6-night adventure and it will take us to some of the most enchanting ports. I'm so excited. I love Cozumel and we're going to go to Grand Caymen, Bimini Bahamas, and I invite you to join us for this unforgettable experience filled with mystery, camaraderie, and adventure. Whether you are a solo traveler seeking a like-minded group to share the adventure with, or a couple looking for a unique getaway, or you're planning to bring your entire book club along, we would love to have you. So please come along. There's going to be links down in the description to sign up for it and to get more information. And I absolutely love that Elizabeth specializes in solo travelers because we have a lot of solo travelers who are coming on our inaugural Clue Crew cruise. So if you've been wanting to go on a cruise, but you haven't had anyone to go with, come with us. So Elizabeth recently cruised on the Celebrity Reflection, and she agreed to come and talk to us about her experience on board.
Elizabeth,
Mhm.
I'm
Oh,
so sorry. I was going to ask you, what was your overall impression of the Celebrity Reflection?
well, first of all, thank you, Wendy and Jen, for having me here today. I'm very
We're so
excited.
excited.
Um,
Wonderful.
the Celebrity Reflection, she is a beautiful ship. She really is. Very elegant. The crew is fantastic. Always smiling, eager to assist in any way that they can. And there's just so much to do on board the Reflection. I just think it's such a wonderful choice for this
Oh,
first
good.
cruise.
So I worked on lots of different cruise lines. Celebrity just has a special spot in my heart. It was one of my early cruise contracts that I did, and I was on for 6 months. So it was a Celebrity Meridian. It doesn't even exist anymore. But I did other ships. I was on the Horizon and different ships after that. But I just always have a soft spot. So I'm really glad that you're excited about it too.
Yes, my first cruise on Celebrity was many, many years on the Celebrity Mercury that
Yeah.
doesn't exist anymore.
But
And
I think I was on that one too. So
and Celebrity though their level of service
Mhm.
has remained consistent throughout.
That's really good to know.
So, what about the library? Wendy was so excited about it, and she saw the library and knew that this was a ship for us. Can you tell us about it?
So, it's really interesting because nowadays it's getting harder and harder to find cruise ships with true libraries. So many of them are just, taking those out for whatever reason. But on the Celebrity Reflection, the library is absolutely stunning. It's one of those places that when you first see it, it almost gives you goosebumps. It's just gorgeous. Um, it is open to the midship atrium. It spans decks 9 and 10. There's just lots of cozy seating everywhere. When you're sitting in the library, the way that it opens to the midship atrium, there's actually a tree that's suspended in the atrium, almost right in front of the library. It's a live tree. And
Wow.
then also those midship elevators are glass elevators.
Mhm.
So you can, when you're sitting in the library, see the glass elevators going up and down. And it's just, it's a beautiful, beautiful spot on the ship.
I'm
It
so
sounds
excited about it.
it sounds divine. It really, really does. Can you tell us about the dining options on board?
Yes, food is always important on a cruise.
Mhm.
Celebrity Reflection has lots of different options. Of course, you've always got the main dining room.
Mm.
There will always be one of the main dining rooms that's open for breakfast every day, as well as dinner, typically lunch on sea days. Then you've got 6 different specialty restaurants that if you wanted to have a special meal, whether it be lunch or dinner, in one of those, there's 6 different ones to choose from. You've got 3 different casual dining spots on board that are not an extra charge for the food. Spa Cafe is available for breakfast and lunch on most days. The Mast Grill, which is up on the pool deck. So if you're at the pool and you don't want to actually get dressed and go anywhere to eat, you can go grab a burger or a sandwich at the Mast Grill. And then one of my favorite spots on board on deck 5, I believe it is Cafe Al Baccio, which is it's like a coffee bar, but at that coffee bar, which is open the majority of the day, they also have uh, different small bites throughout the day, whether it's sandwiches, pastries at breakfast, little sweets. So if you're kind of in between meals and want a little snack, you can go there. You don't have to purchase anything there in order to get those snacks and those sweets. And then the real standout on the Reflection is their Ocean View Cafe. And that is what most people think of as the cruise buffet.
Mhm.
But this buffet on Celebrity Reflection absolutely stands out. And I've been on a lot of ships. Um, it is open longer hours than you find on a lot of cruise ships. There are very few hours of the day that you can't get in there and get something to eat. But what really stands out about the Ocean View Cafe is they're constantly changing what's available. So just lunchtime, you go in there right at the beginning of lunch and you go through and you're like, oh my gosh, look at all of these choices. There's so many great things. And you go ahead, you get your food, you eat, and then 2 hours later, you're like, huh, I might be ready for a little something for dessert. So you walk back in there, and as you're walking through, you're looking, it's like, oh, wow, all this stuff they have out now is different than what they had earlier. And now all of a sudden, you really want to have a second lunch, but you're so full you can't. So it's just constant change in the buffet. There's something for everybody all the time. So
And
you're
that's
never going to
why
go hungry on this ship.
Olivia and Haley are always hanging out at the buffet because there's so
Yes.
much good snacks and she's got to get treats
Yes.
to bring back to Chico. So
Not only am I an avid reader, but I'm an avid foodie, so this sounds right up my alley.
for sure.
Elizabeth, what kind of entertainment did you see?
So I saw 2 different production shows on board. Now, keep in mind this was a short cruise.
Mhm.
I was only on for 4 days. So it was a short cruise, but I saw 2 production shows, and oh, yes, the amount of talent on that stage was just absolutely amazing. There was one of the production shows that I saw that I was just, man, I wish I had gone to the early show so that I could go back and see it again. It was so good.
Oh,
Um,
that's awesome.
and then there was a comedian on board. There were a couple of different headliners. And things like that will vary from one cruise to the next. You might have comedians, you might have magicians, you might have, for headliners, it might be a solo vocalist. It might be a music group. Then there's also things like silent disco, and which is always a lot of fun. And even if you don't want to participate, silent disco is so much fun to watch. There's movies on the big screen outside. There's live music all throughout the ship, all throughout the day. So lots and lots of different options, but definitely the production shows are do not miss. There is just the crew, the the entertainment staff is so talented.
Mhm.
I have a quick question about that. Do you have to actually like reserve space, or are they in auditoriums where you can just go in at your leisure?
So you do not need to reserve space for any of those production shows. They are in the theater. The theater on board the Reflection actually has two different levels, and it can hold, I can't tell you the exact number, but a whole lot of people at once. They're very large theaters. So you do not need any type of reservations for that. Um, and while the other thing, comedians, magicians, and all, they don't need reservations either. But depending upon the venue where the show is going to be, especially you run into this sometimes with comedians, if they are in a smaller venue, then you want to make sure that you get there early enough to get a seat. You don't want to show up 1 minute before the show starts and it might be standing room only.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Elizabeth, tell us about the cabins.
They're very nice. The cabins are very comfortable. They're actually very spacious.
Mhm.
They tons of closet space,
Oh, good.
lots and lots of hanging space in the cabins. I was actually surprised at how much bathroom storage space there is on the Reflection. Um, Cruise ship bathrooms can vary significantly from one ship to another, from one cruise line to another, but the standard cabin bathrooms on the Reflection are relatively spacious and have lots of storage space, lots of counter space, which is something you don't always find.
Yeah. When
They
I would be on a ship, I was in a staff cabin or I would be in a passenger cabin, but it would usually be like the passenger cabin that they didn't really want to sell because that's where they would put the entertainers. And sometimes they're almost like an RV bathroom where like you could almost sit on the toilet and take a shower and wash your hands all at the same time. Maybe brush, you could do everything because it's just they're so tiny. And you would get in this tiny little shower and the
Mhm.
shower curtain would stick to you. And so yeah, a bigger bathroom is good.
No shower curtains there. No,
I
they
was
have
on in the
they have
the
what they call the capsule showers. So it's the one that has like the circular clear
right.
door that slides, so you don't have to worry about shower curtains sticking
Yeah,
to
because
you.
back in the day when I was on, they did not have those. And so you would be in there and they'd be sticking to you because, you're on a ship and everything's going back and forth. And so you're going back and forth and the shower curtain's going back and forth. And next thing you know, you're like, ew. Yeah. So I'm glad they fixed that.
Oh, what's your advice for packing for this particular cruise and itinerary?
Don't overpack.
Okay.
That is easier said than done. I mean, my one rule is, especially if you haven't been on a cruise before, is when you think you're done packing, take half the clothes out. The
When
Let me tell you, you will get to the end of the cruise and go, why did I bring all these clothes? It's
You're
just,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that is very normal. Everyone tends to overpack on a cruise. But just don't overthink it too much. Everything on board the ship is very casual, very laid back. You can get as dressy as you want.
Mhm.
There will be one dress up night, on board, but it's not mandatory. You're going to see some people that night that are very, very dressed up, but then you're going to see a whole lot of people who look exactly the same as they do every other night of the cruise. And that's perfectly fine. That's one of the great things about cruising now is they've kind of gotten away from the very, very formal nights
Yeah,
where
because
you
that's when I
didn't
was
dress
working on
up, you
ships.
didn't leave your cabin. They've
Yeah,
gotten
no,
away from
that was
that.
exactly when I was working on ships that after 6 o'clock, if it was a formal night, you had to be in formal attire.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm
Exactly.
I'm
And
glad. And my husband, who is not a formal guy at all, will be so relieved to hear that
yes.
because, he wore a suit and tie when we got married, and that'll probably be it. So,
Elizabeth, do we need any special things like outlet adapters, power strips, anything of that nature?
So cruise lines have gotten are very, very strict on they will and will not allow you to bring.
Okay.
So extension cords and power strips are big no-nos.
Okay.
Um,
No.
the cruise line, if they're in your luggage, they will actually get confiscated. You cannot
oh,
bring heating pads, you cannot bring irons, you cannot bring clothes steamers
oh my goodness.
on board. Yes, they're very, very strict about that. Anything that could potentially cause a fire. Um, but in there are you won't need any type of outlet adapter per
Okay.
se. It's all US outlets. There will be some other international outlets, but those aren't going to be the only ones you have available. Now, I will say on the Reflection, there are not any outlets right next to the bed. So if it is important to you to charge your cell phone at nighttime within arm's reach of you, then I would suggest bringing an extra long charging cord, but not an actual extension cord. And I am happy to answer anyone's specific questions and help them work through any of those challenges that they think they might have.
Well, and that's a big difference because I had power cords and power strips and everything in my cabin back in the day. So good
And
to know.
it is a little bit different
Yeah,
with crew
right.
than with passengers. But every time you get off a cruise, you're going to walk past we call it the table of shame, where there's literally tables set up where people are
Oh,
reclaiming their confiscated items. And you'd be shocked. I mean, there's always a lot of like power cords, power strips and extension cords, but you would be shocked at how many like coffee makers and rice cookers and crock pots. I'm like, what were you gonna do with that on a cruise? But you'd be surprised.
Well, that's funny.
crock pot.
Mhm.
I
And the
have,
rice cookers.
oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's funny.
Now, do they actually label these items so that they know that you're yours or is
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Whew, I wouldn't want to get
But
my
yeah,
crock pot stolen when I get off the ship. Oh goodness. Elizabeth, are there some hidden gems or lesser known areas of the ship that we should know about or shouldn't miss?
Yes, actually. There's some great little spots around that tend to not get as much attention from other passengers for whatever reason. One is called the Hideaway, and it's this really cool spot. It's actually on deck 7 and 8, so it spans two decks. It's underneath the library. So it's still open to that midship atrium, but it's just this awesome little spot with all kinds of cool chairs and cozy
like in
seating.
little round nests that you can sit in and things.
Yes, and almost like chairs that are like little lounge spots that are like built into the walls. And so if you think about like you see someone's cat just kind of like lounging in a windowsill, you can
Yeah.
almost do that. The human version of that in the hideaway.
No,
So
it
it's a
is from the pictures, it looks so fun, and what a great place to take your book and go hang out and read on a snow day.
Yes. Or yeah, if you just want just a little bit of time away from the hustle and bustle, it's just a great little spot. And it's one of those spots because it's not in the middle of everything else. You've got to be specifically going there. It doesn't
Right.
get a lot of foot traffic. I also love the Sunset Bar, which is on the very back of the ship on deck 15. Um, I'm not a huge bar drinker, but I love the Sunset Bar because of the way the seating is there. There's just awesome, comfortable seating as well as some almost like built-in um, backless stool type seating that's right on the aft of the ship so that you can sit there, watch, as the ship is going, you can watch the wake of the ship. If you're traveling in the right direction, you can watch the sunset. It's just a really awesome spot to just kind of unwind and take in some fresh air.
Wonderful.
Another great spot on board is Cellar Masters. It's actually a wine bar on deck 4 midship, but and it's great if you're a wine lover, absolutely great, and great seating and all. But one thing I love about it is that in the mornings, before it actually opens as the wine bar, it's still open. You can still go in there, and there's seats. It's on deck 5, so it's a little further down, so you can sit there in one of the chairs next to a window and just watch the ocean go by. And it's a great spot. I have one other hidden gem,
Ooh,
just if I can.
of course.
This was a personal favorite. So in the Ocean View Cafe, that's the buffet on board, there is ice cream there. And they've
Mm.
got your typical soft serve, ice cream, but they also have regular hard scoop ice cream. And it is
Mm.
made on board the ship.
Oh,
Oh my
And the
goodness.
flavors change every single day. Now they're always going to have like vanilla and chocolate, but
mhm.
otherwise the flavors change every day. And that ice cream is absolutely amazing. And if they have pistachio, oh my goodness, that is the best pistachio ice cream I have ever had in my entire life. And I
Awesome.
mean, it's amazing. And that's included. There's no extra charge for that ice cream. So that is, to me, that is one of the huge hidden gems that people just kind of walk straight past the ice cream, going to all the other stuff in the buffet. But oh my goodness.
I have a major ice cream problem. I'm not gonna lie. It is
I love it too.
pistachio.
That's my favorite.
Pistachio is one of my favorites.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So on this inaugural cruise, the Clue crew is going to Grand Cayman, Cozumel, and Bimini. Do you have any recommendations for excursions or activities?
So, that's a really personal decision. Everybody likes different things. I
Mhm.
will tell you kind of the most popular things
Okay.
in each of those locations. Grand Cayman is typically more about nature, more about the wildlife, more about the natural resource of the island.
Mhm.
The three big popular things there are going to be Stingray City. You've probably heard of that, where you
Mhm.
can actually get in the water with the stingrays. can touch them and learn all about them. Another very popular thing there is the Turtle Center.
Mm.
They
That's
have
what
an amazing turtle center there. I think,
yeah.
Wendy, you had said that
Yes.
you were planning to go
Yep,
there.
I've already booked the tickets for that. And in my third book in the series, Overboard at Christmas, Olivia and her mom and the gang all go to the turtles and see the turtles as part of that
Okay.
story. So I think that'll be really fun for everybody
Yes.
to get to go and see it in person. And I'm
Yes.
excited about it. And
And that was like,
I haven't gone to Stingray City, but I have gone swimming with stingrays in Bora Bora,
mhm.
and it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. So I highly recommend that as well. There's nothing like petting a stingray, and they're so playful and so much fun. So that's also really super fun to do.
The third thing I would say in Grand Cayman, the Cayman Islands, third most popular would probably be the Crystal Caves. So if you're not
Mm.
necessarily into like swimming with wildlife or things like that, but you want to see some of the natural wonders on the island, the Crystal Caves are really, really cool. That's another very popular excursion.
Elizabeth, do they take you on a boat in the Crystal Caves? How do you
So
know?
there's several different ways that you can do it.
Okay.
That, you can kayak, you can actually, walk, walk through part and swim and lots of different options, just depending on how active you want to be.
I like that.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the embarkment and disembarkment processes and any tips to make those smoother?
The number one thing is make sure you have the app downloaded on your phone
I did it. I
before
did
you
it. You told
even
me to do
leave
it, and I
home.
did it.
Yes, because on the app is where you're going to need to do your online check-in. That is paramount to check-in going smoothly, painlessly, is get the online check-in done. Um, they really have everything streamlined at the port, and you'll be boarding in Fort Lauderdale. It's a very, very easy port to navigate. Um, but if you do the online check-in, you're going to be fine. You'll be good to go. One nice thing is that with Celebrity, they will allow you when you board the ship, you can immediately go to your stateroom and drop off any carry-on bag that you have. Now, you can't just hang out in your stateroom then unless you're getting on later in the day. But if you are, in those first boarding groups getting on, then they will allow you to go ahead, drop your bag, and
Oh,
then
that is
go
nice.
on to other areas of the ship. So that way you don't have to take your carry-on bag around
Right.
with you to go eat lunch and explore and things like that. So, and that's not all ships will let you do that. Not all cruise lines will, but Celebrity will. And then as far as on the last day of the cruise, whenever they're like, "Yep, Wendy, you got to get off the ship. You cannot stay on. It's time to get off. Last call." They do make it very easy. You can leave your luggage outside of your stateroom the night before. Just make sure you have your change of clothes, so you're not, leaving the ship in your pajamas. But they'll actually take if you leave your luggage out the night before, they will take it out to off the ship for you, and so you can collect that just before you go through customs. Um, but the key is just downloading the app and doing the online check-in, and then they will tell you everything you need to do. So super, super easy. Um, One thing, if we could, I kind of wanted to go back to the destinations again.
Oh, yeah,
So,
sure.
we talked about Grand Cayman, but I did want to just touch on Cozumel is snorkeling, beach day, ATV, Jeep tours. But Bimini, I'm really excited about for y'all. Bimini it's a very, very small island.
Mhm.
And the most popular things to do there, lots of people will rent a golf cart to explore the island. That's very easy to do there. If you're a very adventurous person, then Bimini is like the place for shark diving.
Mm,
You can,
I've gone swimming with sharks, but I've never gone diving with them. So that would be
yes,
fun.
yes, they have there you can dive with tiger sharks, hammerheads, nurse sharks, reef sharks, bull sharks, and
Wow.
that's January is like peak time for the hammerheads there. So if you're really adventurous, that's something that's very popular in Bimini. But another just kind of little bit of trivia, Wendy, you may already know this, but Bimini has a huge history with writers, with authors.
Oh,
Um,
sweet.
yes,
I did not know
so
that.
Bimini, with its proximity to the United States,
Mhm.
has been very popular in the past with authors that are wanting a little escape to just kind of go somewhere and clear their heads
It does sound good. I mean, I really do
and
think that sounds good.
and three that come to mind immediately that are very well associated with Bimini, Zane Grey,
Right. Oh, my dad's a
um,
huge Zane Grey fan.
yes, Ernest Hemingway,
Of course. Yes, yes.
and in fact, Bimini was supposedly his inspiration, The Old Man and the Sea, um,
Oh,
Oh,
and
interesting.
Jimmy Buffett.
ah,
Ah,
Jimmy Buffett went to Bimini to write his book.
neat.
So,
Oh,
so
that's
it
so
just
neat.
a fun little bit of trivia about Bimini. So who knows? Maybe after your visit to Bimini, there'll be inspiration for, 5 more books.
Oh, for sure. I already have lots of ideas planned, but I know part of going on this cruise, it's been a while since I've cruised because I was raising kids and everything. So I'm excited to go back because I know it's going to inspire some more stories. So if you come on the cruise with us, you never know. You might get it. I won't kill you off, I promise. I'll make you a good guy in the book.
that was funny. Elizabeth, based on your experience, what is the one thing you think that our group will enjoy most about cruising on the Celebrity Reflection?
I think that all of the choices, there are so many different choices. There's literally something for everyone on board the Reflection. One thing that stood out to me on board was the amount of activities that are offered every day, and not just on sea days, even on port days. If Cozumel is not your thing and you don't really want to get off the ship in Cozumel, there's still going to be scheduled activities on board the ship that you can take part in. Or, of course, you can always just hang out at the pool or, whatever you want to do, find a comfy spot and read a book. But there's just so many different activities every single day on board. You can do as much or as little as you want. And if you don't want to partake in all of the different activities, there's so many just great little spots to
Mhm.
go and just relax and hang out on board.
That sounds delightful. It really does. Thank you so much for your time and your insider tips on the Celebrity Reflection. If any of our viewers need help with booking the Crew cruise or other cruises, where can they reach you?
So the easiest thing right now is to send me an email. It's Elizabeth at vacationeverafter.com. I do have a Facebook page. I know not everyone is on social media, but if you search on Facebook for Elizabeth Mason, Vacation Ever After, it will pop up. But that's probably the easiest way to contact me right now.
Perfect.
If you have other questions about the Clue Crew Cruise or you're ready to sign up, go down into the description box and click the link that I have there for the Clue Crew Cruise. And you can also go to my website, wendynugentbooks.com, and click the Cruise With Me link. And I'll send you information on the cruise and how you can join us on this or future cruises. And we'll also have links to all of Elizabeth's information down below as well. So thank you so much, Elizabeth. We really appreciate your time, and we're so excited to be able to go on this Clue Crew cruise and all of our future ones. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Wendy, and thank you, Jen.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Elizabeth.